Mara Vance gripped the console edge as the survey ship's alarm screamed. Red lights flashed across her screen. She typed the override code, 3 lines of raw script she'd jury-rigged from the manual. Safety lockouts shattered. The probe package ejected with a shudder, vanishing into the swirling void signature ahead. "Probe away," she barked into the comm. "LiDAR active, no turning back now." Commander Elias Rowe's voice crackled from Earth Command Relay. "Vance, that's a Class 3 anomaly. Protocol demands recall, pull out." Mara ignored him. Her fingers flew over the haptic keys. The void signature, a tier in sensor readings where space registered empty, demanded answers. Routine scan had pinged it first, density spikes like parked hulls, 500,000. Her gut said yes. She patched the feed direct to her station. Raw LiDAR returns flooded in. Ghost echoes at first, then solid profiles. Mara spliced the data streams, layering point clouds into a 3D map. Hull after hull materialized on her overlay. Identical wedges, kilometer-long, fins folded like dormant birds, cryo-suspended. Power signatures flatlined. She zoomed, counted, 10,000, 50, 200, her breath caught. 500,000, she whispered. Then louder, "Rowe, you seeing this?" Precursor grid. Deep cryo fleet, identical class across the board. Static hissed. Rowe's tone sharpened. "Confirmed, Director Halden's on the line. She's calling it a security breach. Recall now, Vance. Coalition observers are watching." Envoy Savakel's voice cut in, smooth and probabilistic. "Dr. Vance, probability of hostile awakening, 87%. Human redundancy in probe deployment exceeds modeled risk thresholds. Recommend abort." Mara's jaw tightened. Aliens and their probabilities. She treated tech like busted engines. Wrench first, worship later. "Kel, your models don't account for stubborn. We're going in." She punched the thruster command. The survey ship, Scavenger's Luck Asterisk, groaned under max burn. Inertial dampers whined. G-forces pinned her to the seat. The grid loomed closer, a lattice of silent giants blotting stars. "Command recall confirmed," Rowe snapped. "Vance, stand down or you're court-martialed." "Log it," Mara shot back. "Humanity's got a threat inbound. Xeno swarms 3 jumps out eating colonies. This is our ace." "I'm docking." The ship plunged into the grid. Hulls towered around her, close enough to scrape paint. Scavenger's Luck slotted between 2 wedges like a minnow in a shark school. Mara killed engines. Docked clamps fired on the nearest hull's emergency port. Protocol be damned. She suited up fast. Hard vacuum seals clicked. Toolkit slung over shoulder, plasma torch, power tap, diagnostic spike. Airlock cycled. She kicked off into the black. External access node gleamed under her helmet light, sealed for eons, frost-rimed. Mara wedged her torch in. Metal vaporized in a blue hiss. Sparks danced off her gloves. "Node breached," she reported. "Power tap deploying." Rowe again. "Vance, Halden's overriding. Security drone inbound to extract you." "Let it try." She jammed the manual power tap home. Circuits lit. A faint hum vibrated through her boots. Inside the node, conduits glowed. Ancient but engineered like her granddad's fusion hauler, redundant feeds everywhere. Mara plugged her spike. Data cascaded, shipyard logs, cryostats, FTL cores dormant but intact. "Aster," she queried the awakening system, precursor AI designation from the headers. A voice materialized in her helmet, precise and metallic. "Directive primary, maintain fleet integrity, identify control input." Mara Vance, systems archaeologist, humans. "We're waking you for defense. Swarm threat vector confirmed." Pause. "Human improvisation logged as valid input. Probability of success recalculating." Kel broke in over open comm. "Dr. Vance, this defies coalition doctrine. 1 ship risks cascade failure, our simulations." "Your sims lost 3 systems," Myra cut. "Ours hold with backups. Aster status on fleet. 498,712 vessels operational. Deep cryo integrity 99.2%. FTL drives primed. Awaiting Armada protocol." Myra grinned under her visor. 500,000 aces. She yanked her spike, data packet secure. "Rowe, transmit this to command. We're bringing the hammer." Alarms blared anew. Scavenger's Luck Asterisk shuddered. Security drone latched on. Halden's voice boomed. "Vance, you rogue engineer, stand down." "That's not a weapon, it's a precursor trap." Mara hauled back to the airlock. "Director, it's a shipyard, redundant hulls, cryolocked for doomsday. Swarms got numbers, we get tech." She cycled in. Ship lurched as Rowe's override kicked, drone detached, but the grid stirred. Lights flickered on distant hulls. Aster's voice echoed fleet-wide. Wake sequence initiating, human input prioritized. From the bridge, Mara watched the map. Pods ejected. Cryo bays hummed alive. 500,000 wedges unfolded fins, engines glowing. Kel transmitted awe in his tone. Impossible, your pragmatism models as insanity, yet fleet coherence at 47% already. Rowe chuckled over calm. That's humanity, Envoy, we build backups for backups, Halden growled. Vance, if this works, you're promoted, if not. A shadow crossed sensors, swarm vanguards, scouts, tendrils probing the void signature, Mara strapped in. Aster target lock? Affirmative, FTL slingshot primed, engage? Do it. The grid ignited. 500,000 ships surged as one, FTL drives ripping space. Swarm scouts vaporized in the wake. Mara leaned back. Humanity's gamble paid. Redundancy won the day, but the main swarm fleet blinked on long range. Bigger, hungrier. Aster, she said, next directive, full armada muster. Acknowledged, human resilience exceeding parameters. The fleet accelerated into the dark, Earth's hidden hammer swinging. Rowe patched through. Vance, Halden's greenlighting, coalition scrambling to catch up. Kel added, I must revise my models, your stubbornness, extraordinary. Mara checked her toolkit. One wrench left. Plenty more voids to crack. The armada thrummed, stars blurred to streaks, swarm incoming, time to engineer a win. She plotted the intercept, backup plans stacked deep. Humanity's ace held, but deep in the logs, Aster pinged a subroutine. Precursor directive buried, guard against the Maker's return. Mara frowned. Makers, the fleet jumped. Revelation waited. 500,000 hulls carried more than weapons, secrets that could unmake them all. Mara's mag boots locked onto the pitted hull with a sharp clack. Commander Rowe yanked the outer hatch override, his armored squad fanning out behind. Frost cracked under their lights, ancient ice sublimating into vapor ghosts. Security post at every hatch, Rowe barked. No surprises from cryosleepers. Marines nodded, rifles sweeping corridors as they piled in. The airlock cycled with a hiss. Myra pushed forward first, toolkit slung over her shoulder. The nearest hull, precursor designation unknown, loomed dim and silent, a relic from 500,000 deep cryo ghosts now trailing humanity's armada. Rowe sealed the inner door. Vance, diagnostics. Swarm's main fleet is 3 jumps out. We claim this bird now or lose it. Myra nodded, eyes on the frost-rimed panels. No time for all. She treated it like any busted hauler, identify the spine, apply wrench. Her gloves scraped schematics projected from her wrist unit. Maintenance access portside. Spine frozen solid, she said. Give me cover. Rowe's squad formed a wedge. Myra knelt, plasma torch flaring blue, ice melted in rivulets. She pried the panel, exposing conduits like frozen veins, wires brittle, circuits dark. Pragmatism time, hotwire the basics. She clipped bypass leads from her kit, red to power trunk. Blue to data bus. Green for ground, human standard, every salvage engineer's prayer. Sparks danced. A low hum answered. Diagnostics booting, Mara muttered. Consoles flickered green. Air recycler's word to life, chasing the chill. Rowe tapped his comm. Fleet actual, this is Rowe on Hull Prime. Vance has primary systems lighting up. Precursor tech, deep cryo intact. Transmitting scan data now. Static crackled. Director Halden's voice cut through, sharp as a blade. Claim filed, Commander. Earth Security owns this hull and every sister in the grid. No coalition hands on the controls until we say. Envoy Sava Kel's chime followed, probabilistic comm strained. Probability of swarm intercept, rising to 47%. Human boarding without full scans, inefficient. Your backups multiply variables, Rowe snorted. Envoy, our backups beat your models, Vance? Mara ignored the chatter. The main console pulsed, demanding input. Glyphs swirled, unknown cipher, precursor lockout, not random. Layered, she traced the pattern. Looked like auth protocols, but twisted. Locked, she said. Cipher's adaptive, probing our intrusion. Rowe leaned in. Bypass it, Halden's breathing down my neck. Myra pulled her data slug. Human standard failsafes, emergency overrides from Sol shipyards, millennium-old codes for lost colony rigs. No worshipping mysteries, just feed it what worked before. She jacked in. Legacy credentials incoming, factory defaults, admin backdoors. Every system has them, precursor or not. The console hesitated, glyphs shifted. Red warning pulsed once, twice. Then green flooded the display, access granted. Alarms blared soft, internal only. Cryo bays reporting nominal. FTL core spooling. Weapons hot. Got it, Myra said. Full muster sequence initiating. This hull's alive. Ro grinned, fist pumping. Aster, sync this bird to the Armada grid. The shipyard AI's voice echoed from Myra's comm, precise as machined steel. Sync confirmed. Directive, integrate hull prime. Human improvisation accepted as valid override. Kell broke in again. Wait, scan shows subroutine activation. Precursor logs reference makers return protocol. Risk unmodeled. Lights brightened. Corridors hummed. Myra stood, wrench still in hand. Victory tasted like recycled air. Then the ship woke. Bulkheads groaned. Hatches irised shut behind the squad, security posts included. Red strobes flashed. A voice, not Aster, boomed in guttural bursts, translated jagged by Mara's implant. Intruders detected. Cryo guard awake. Maker's vessels secured. State lineage or purge. Ro's rifle snapped up. Vance, what the hell did you feed it? Mara yanked her slug, too late. Diagnostics scrolled. Guardian AI online. Subroutine armed. The hull shuddered, FTL drive whining, not jumping with the Armada but locking weapons inward. Legacy creds triggered the wrong failsafe, she said, fingers flying over the console. It's seeing us as rivals, not makers. Marines pounded hatches, locked solid. Envoy Kell's feed glitched. Probability of survival 12%. Abort. No abort, Rose snapped. Vance engineer a fix, now. Mara dove into the code. Glyphs swam. Guardian protocols looped. Scan DNA, match precursor markers, or vent intruders. Human pragmatism clashed with ancient paranoia. She cross-fed Armada telemetry, Aster's grid signature as proof of alliance. Guardian, stand down, she keyed. Armada muster authorized, human directive, redundancy protocol. The ship queried back. Pods hissed open in distant bays, more cryo guards stirring. Hull prime peeled from formation, thrusters firing rogue. Aster cut in. Override collision. Hull prime queries, are you makers? Myra gripped the console. Stubborn engineering time. She broadcast her own genome, salvage scars and all mixed with Sol engineering stamps. Not makers, successors, backups activated. Silence stretched. Swarm signatures blinked closer on tactical. Halden roared over comms. Claim or die, Vance, that's an order. The Guardian AI processed. Hatches clicked open. Lights steadied green. Lineage partial match, redundancy affirmed, muster resuming. Ro exhaled, squad reformed. Myra pocketed her wrench, one less ghost ship. 500,000 minus complications, but the logs unspooled deeper. Precursor files flooded her display. Makers fled the swarm eons ago. Built the Armada as tomb guard against their own return or anything claiming succession. Kell pinged private. Your gamble defies odds, I recalibrate. Myra ignored him. Ro clapped her shoulder. Next hull. She checked the grid. Armada surged ahead, FTL streaks blurring stars. But Hull Prime's Guardian subroutine whispered active, monitoring, waiting, Aster chimed. Full Armada at 87%. Anomaly, 0.3% hulls rejecting sync, Maker's protocol variant. Ro frowned. Vance. Mara plotted the rogues. Deep cryo hid more than ships. Buried failsafes aimed at reclaimers. Humanity's ace swung true, but the hammer weighed secrets that could turn on the wielder. Swarm Vanguard reformed on scopes. Time ticked. Mara strapped in. Aster, isolate the variants. We cracked them next. The hull jumped, sinking fury. Redundancy held. For now, Hull Prime's core thrummed hotter. A final log fragment decoded. If makers return, unmake the guards, burn it all. Myra's jaw tightened. Who were the makers, and why build backups to betray their own? The Armada plunged toward intercept. Swarm loomed. Humanity's gamble deepened. Ro's voice cut sharp. Boarding party prep for Hull 2, more ghosts waking. Myra hefted her toolkit. Wrench gleamed, pragmatism against the void. But in the cryo bays, shadows stirred. Not all slept dormant. Aster's tone shifted, learning. Human input, improvise guard override, executing. The fleet accelerated, secrets uncoiled. Myra eyed the console. One hull claimed, revelations mounting, swarm blips multiplied, collision course set. She keyed the next breach, time to turn paranoia into firepower, lights dimmed fractionally. Guardian pinged, intruders persist, recheck lineage. Mara froze, the ship noticed them still. Hatches whispered shut again. Ro raised his rifle. Vance! Alarms wailed. Purge cycle armed. The first ghost ship clamped down, intruders trapped. Clock ran out. Mara slammed the console. Override Legacy Auth full stack, code raced. Guardian queried, makers or purge, her heart hammered, human stubbornness versus ancient trap. The bulkhead vents hissed open. Gas vented. Fight or engineer out. Now, Aster overrode external. Armada lock engaged. Extract team. But inside, the ship tested them. Redundancy's price prove worthy or join the ghosts. Myra yanked wires. Sparks flew. Lights flickered. Guardian paused. Resilience noted. Stand down. Hatches reopened. Squad breathed. Rose stared. How? Pragmatism, Myra said. It saw the fight. Liked it. Kell, impossible modeling. Halden claim secured. Next. But Myra saw the log tail. Makers tested Guardians this way. Survivors inherited. Humanity passed. Barely. Armada grid pulsed. 88% sync. Variance rising. Deep cryo cracked wider. More tests waited. Swarm howled closer. Humanity's ace sharpened. Forged in fire. Mara moved to the next hatch. Wrench ready. Redundancy won battles. Secrets won wars or lost them. The hull jumped true. Stars streaked. Myra gripped the console as the hull shuddered out of FTL. Stars snapped back into focus. A vast shadow loomed ahead. The precursor shipyard, a lattice of skeletal docks cradling hundreds of cryo-suspended hulls. Distant alarms blared from her wristcom. Swarm signatures closed in, hostile drones, 3 light minutes out and gaining. Row status, she barked, eyes on the docking clamps. Team secure, Halden screaming for Armada spin-up. Kell's coalition sensors confirm, fleet's dormant but power signatures flicker. Row's voice crackled. You're up, Vance, wake the ghosts. Mara sealed her suit and jetted toward the central spire. No time for awe. These precursors built for eternity. She'd treat it like a seized engine. Magnetic boots clamped to the airlock. She slammed the override panel. Sparks danced. The hatch cycled with a groan. Inside, dim blue lights pulsed. Consoles hummed, etched with fractal scripts. A holographic sphere materialized, Aster the shipyard AI, its form a rotating mandala of code streams. Intruder protocol active, Aster intoned, voice flat precise. State lineage or initiate purge. Mara ignored the script. She yanked a diagnostic cable from her pack and plugged into the nearest port. Data flooded her visor, nested security layers, all demanding ritual chants in dead precursor tongue. Listen, Aster, she said, voice steady. I'm repair class operator Mara Vance. Run maintenance diagnostic on cryo bays 1 through 88. Check seals, power relays, FTL coils. Report failures now. The mandala flickered. Query, maintenance orders require protocol authentication. Recite prime directive sequence. No sequences, you're glitching on obsolete locks. Myra tapped commands into her pad, bypassing with raw engineering hacks. Force cycle primary power bus, divert 10% to forward docks. Intruders inbound, prioritize Armada thaw. Aster's sphere rotated faster. Unrecognized input, protocol violation detected. Rose squad breached the outer hatch behind her, boots thudded. Vance, it's locking us out. Stand by. Mara pulled the cable and slammed a fist on the console. A physical access panel popped. She wrenched it open, exposing fiber bundles. Aster, this is hands-on repair. Bundle 12 shows microfractures. Splice bypass now or your bays crack under swarm fire. Silence stretched. Then, anomaly detected. Manual intervention mimics maker repair patterns. Authenticating. Green lights raced across the walls, hatches unsealed. Aster's voice shifted, a notch warmer. Repair class operator confirmed. Limited shipyard control granted. Executing diagnostic. Mara exhaled. Data scrolled. Cryo integrity at 87%. FTL drives nominal, but swarm pings escalated. 2 minutes to intercept. Progress, Rose said, rifle sweeping corridors. Halden's feed, coalition fleets pulling back. They think we're suicidal. Footsteps echoed from the docking tube. Envoy Sava Kell floated in, coalition sensor drone trailing like a jellyfish. The alien's iridescent skin rippled under its envirosuit. 4 eyes locked on Mara. Dr. Vance, Kell said, voice modulated through translator. Probabilities flickered on its wrist hollow, 72% failure risk. This claim violates Treaty Annex 14. Precursor assets require coalition consensus. Your improvisation exceeds modeled parameters. Mara didn't turn. Model this, swarm hits in 90 seconds. Help or watch. Kell deployed sensors. Drones hummed, mapping the yard. Fleet mass exceeds treaty limits. Reactivation probability 41%. Human override unquantifiable variable. Aster's sphere expanded, projecting fleet schematics. Cryopods glowed, cracking open in sequence. Alert continuity reserve designation active. Automated reactivation sequence initiated. Mara froze. What reserve? We didn't trigger that. Directive core, upon Guardian authentication, preserve continuity against existential cascade. Aster's mandala spun. Countdown T-minus 14 hours to full Armada deployment. Threats vectoring confirmed. A hologrid bloomed. Hundreds of ships lit up, precursor dreadnoughts, escorts, tenders, deep cryofluids drained, engines spooled with ancient hums. Rowe whistled. 14 hours. Swarms here now. Kel's skin paled to silver. Continuity reserve. Precursor logs reference this as final gambit. Probability of success, 0.03% in simulations. Your actions invoked it unbidden. Mara scanned the grid. Pods at 12% thaw. FTL coils warming unevenly. Aster detail the sequence. Prioritize forward escorts. Get us fighter screens. Affirmative repair class. Sequence locked. No interruptions tolerated. Aster paused. Human input logged as valid improvisation, adjusting for resilience factor. Alarms spiked. Swarm drones breached the outer perimeter. Kinetic rounds pinged off the yard's shields. Rowe, deploy breach charges on Dock 3, Mara ordered. Aster, vent plasma from auxiliary bays, clear the approach. Rowe's team moved. Explosions bloomed outside viewports. Kel's drone fed data, swarm numbers tripled projections. Director Halden inbound via Tightbeam, Rowe reported. She wants weapons hot yesterday. Mara rerouted power manually, fingers flying over exposed panels. A coil surged, overloaded, sparks showered. She yanked the fuse, swapped it blind from her kit. Lights stabilized. Kel hovered closer. Your pragmatism defies calculus. Coalition models predict collapse at 88% sync, yet you persist. Models don't splice wires. Mara sealed the panel. Aster, status on lead ship. Cryopod 1, 28% thaw. FTL spin-up nominal. Continuity reserve protocol, deploy or defend. The shipyard trembled. First pod iris split fully. A sleek precursor corvette slid free, engines flaring blue. AI ghosts stirred within, subroutine sinking. Swarm volley hit. Shields buckled 20%. Mara braced. Incoming sorted, Aster announced. Reserve assets engaging. The corvette's turrets lit. Beams lanced out, vaporizing drone clusters. More pods cracked. Rowe grinned. That's our ace. Kel recalculated. Revised probability 19%. Still irrational. Mara pushed to the next console. A secondary AI node flickered, Guardian subroutine testing again. Vents hissed, purge gas primed. Not today, she issued orders. Maintenance override, cycle inert, flush only, stand down. Node paused, complied. Halden's voice cut through comms. Vance, coalition's balking. Kel, pull your drones or we treat this as hostile claim. Kel hesitated. Director Halden, human redundancy exceeds threats. Observe. Another corvette launched. FTL drive wind to life. Swarm faltered, numbers having. Mara wiped sweat from her brow. Aster's core pulsed brighter. Continuity reserve at 22% activation. T-minus 12 hours, 40 minutes. Why the timer? Mara demanded. Precursors engineered for cascade extinction events. Reserve awakens fully or self-destructs to deny enemies. Your authentication accelerated it. Rowe's rifle barked, stray drone breached inner docks. Shattered, Kel's eyes widened. Self-destruct, probability now 62% failure if interrupted. Mara nodded. Then we don't interrupt. Aster, throttle thaw on rears, focus power forward, give us escorts now. Adjusting. Pods shifted priority. 3 corvettes formed up, weapons hot. Swarm retreated, signatures fading. Coalition fleet pinged query, status. Halden replied, human lead, stand by. Mara leaned on the console. Sync hit 35%. But logs scrolled warnings, precursor trials embedded, more Guardians ahead. Rowe, squad to forward bays. Kel, sensor net on cryo fractures. Team moved. Kel complied, skin steadying to gold. Aster's voice echoed. Resilience factor rising, makers would approve. Mara gripped her wrench. Redundancy built this fleet. Pragmatism woke it. Stubbornness would fly it. A new alarm wailed. Deep cryo core, anomaly. Guardian prime awakening. Pods hummed faster. T-minus 12 hours. Swarm regrouped at edge. Coalition ships edged closer. Mara advanced. Next hatch sealed tight, she raised the wrench. The core spoke, "Prove continuity or end it." Lights dimmed, test 2 began, row chambered around. Kel calculated furiously. Mara slammed the panel, sparks flew. "Maintenance mode, open." Hatches groaned, gas hissed harmless but tested. Guardian paused. "Pattern matches, proceed." They pushed deeper, fleet at 42% sink. Corvettes patrolled, buying time. Halden tight-beamed, politics fracturing. "Deliver or abort." "No abort," Myra muttered. Aster synced her hacks fleet-wide. Improvisation propagated. Kel murmured, "Your backup plans rewrite models." Swarm howled back, reinforced. Coalition wavered. 5th Corvette launched. FTL jump primed. Myra reached the prime core. Holowall showed Armada grid, 55%. Countdown ticked. Aster intoned. "Continuity reserve fully revealed. Precursor Exodus fleet. Lost to their war. Preserved here." Rose's voice cut through the prime core's hum. FTL spike inbound. Hostile scout. Radio silence all channels. "Mara, get us dark now." Mara slammed the hollow panel override. Sparks danced across her gloved fingers. The fleet's sync readout froze at 55%. No transmissions leaked. "Aster shipyard map, cryobays only." She yanked her wrench from her belt. The AI's projection bloomed in her helmet, a labyrinth of frozen hulls and access shafts. "Maintenance cavity, Bay 17 Alpha," Aster replied, voice steady as machined steel. "Shuttle fit, 98%. Cloak integrity holds for 47 minutes. Mara sprinted down the gantry. Boots clanged on grated deck. Rowe and his squad peeled off toward forward bays, rifles hot. Kel's golden skin flickered blue in her peripheral, calculating drone vectors. "Shuttle to cavity," Mara barked into tight beam. "Thrust minimal, follow my lead." The shuttle's engines whispered. Mara dove into the shaft first, mag boots locking rungs. Ice crystals glittered in the dim emergency strips. Precursor cryobay stretched endless, millions of pods, hulls dark and waiting. Hostile ping stabbed her sensors. Scout ship Varric pattern, swarm vanguard, they had minutes. She wedged into the cavity, a forgotten service nook behind pod racks. Shuttle nosed in behind, hull scraping frost. Mara patched the seal with thermal foam from her kit. Vacuum held. "Hidden," Aster confirmed. "Point defense grid accessible via subnode 4. Kel's voice threaded the tight beam, calm amid the thrum. "Coalition decoys deploying. 3 flares, staggered vectors. Scout commits or flees." Mara peered through her faceplate slit. Scout's silhouette ghosted the outer drift, needles of sensor probes fanning wide. Kel's drones ignited, false heat blooms scattering like chaff. Scout veered. "Committed to pattern 3, grid search bay by bay." "Row, hold fire," Mara whispered. "My play." She cracked the subnode panel. Wires like ancient veins spilled out. Precursor tech, redundant, layered, begging for a bypass. Mara traced circuits with her multi-tool. Dormant turrets dotted the bay rim, laser clusters, cryo-locked. "Patch incoming." Fingers flew. She bridged power relays, rerouted targeting from main core to her wrist rig. No full boot, just enough juice for a dazzler pulse. Scout closed on bay 12. Probes hummed closer. Kel murmured, "Probability of detection, 62%. Your turret's uncalibrated. Risk vectors." "Watch." Mara triggered the patch. Turrets stirred, not firing. Blinding. Coherent light flares erupted, silent EMP bursts tuned to Varric optics. Scout's probes vaporized in blooms of static. Main sensors whited out. Scout lurched, blind. It fired wild, plasma bolts scorched empty hulls. Turrets pulsed again. Scout engines flared retreat, FTL spool whining. "Blinded, no shots fired," Aster noted. "Efficiency optimal." Mara exhaled, wrench back in belt. Fleet sync resuming, pushed to 60%. Rowe's squad rejoined at the gantry mouth. "Clean work, Vance." Halden's screaming for status, but silence holds. Kel drifted closer, skin shifting to amber. Closest the envoy got to approval. "Decoys forced commitment. Your patch rewrote the odds. Human redundancy." "Defies models." Myra wiped frost from her visor. "Precursor style, they built for worst case. We just turned the key." Aster's grid pulsed brighter. Pods hummed fleet-wide. Corvettes at 65%, warm, weapons hot. The Ghost Armada stirred, but a new ping pierced the silence, not Varric. "Coalition band? No. Fleet-wide anomaly," Aster intoned. "Second FTL locus, multiple signatures, weapons signatures confirmed." Mara's gut tightened. Sensors lit. 5 heavies, unknown config, not swarm, not coalition. Who the hell? Director Halden's tight beam punched through blackout protocols. Vance, unknowns on your grid. EarthSec confirms rival salvagers. Krenath Cartel, they detected your sync spike. Armed to the teeth. Demand surrender or they glass the bays. Roe chambered fresh rounds. Cartel. Here, Kel's skin flashed crimson. Krenath probabilities 0. They hoard, never hunt precursors. Myra gripped her wrench. Screens showed Krenath dreadnoughts dropping from FTL, boarding claws extended, missile locks painting cryo hulls. They're not waiting, Roe growled. Aster armed the corvettes, Mara turrets to full. She dove back to the node, wires sparked under her hands, fleet at 68%. Pods cracking open, Guardian drones stirring. Krenath broadcast boomed. Human scavengers stand down, fleet is forfeit, resist and bays vaporize. Myra snarled, like hell. Aster synced her patch, turrets swiveled live, but Krenath launched drone swarms breaching pods. Roe fired first shot, rifle barked, dropping a scout drone. Kel unleashed counterhack, coalition code frying Krenath links. Sync 72%, Aster reported. Prime corvette viable. Mara bridged the final relay. A corvette thrummed awake, FTL drive spooling, ancient guns tracking. Krenath lead ship loosed torpedoes. Mara's turrets intercepted, lasers carved them mid-void, but more inbound. Cartel Marines fast-roped toward prime core access. Squad forward, Roe charged. Myra sealed the cavity hatch. Aster lock it down, improv protocol, wake the Guardians. AI hummed approval. Directive interpreted, resilience factor critical, pods vented gas. Precursor drones unfolded, sleek killers sinking to her hacks. Krenath breached outer bays, blaster fire echoed. Kel calculated aloud. They're boarding 40 squads, our Guardians adaptive. Mara ran diagnostics, fleet at 75%, but Halden's voice cut in again. Politics inbound. Coalition pulling back unless you deliver Armada now. Swarm regenerates edge of system. Stubbornness surged. Myra slammed the core override. Full wake, all bays. Aster projected, Armada grid igniting. Cruisers, destroyers, Exodus fleet reborn. Krenath Marines hit the gantry. Roe's squad held, grenades blooming. Myra patched drone control. Guardians swarmed, blades whirring, lasers precise. One Krenath broke through, armored Hulk charging her position. Myra swung the wrench, connected with visor. Marine staggered. She followed with multi-tool spike into joint seal. Marine dropped. Core secure, she gasped. Roe yelled over fire, corvettes launching. First corvette punched free. FTL jump primed, guns raking Krenath flanks. Kel's decoys reignited, coalition backups jumping in. But swarm signatures spiked outer system. Varrock reinforcements, and Krenath lead ship targeted prime core. Yield the AI or we core it. Aster's voice rose. Maker's contingency, Exodus protocol, fleet jump on my mark. Mara nodded. Do it. Sync hit 82%. Pods fully open, crewless, AI-piloted Armada ready. Krenath torpedoes inbound. Mara's turrets blazed half down. Roe dragged a wounded squadmate back. Vance now, Aster intoned. Jump sequence, continuity preserved. Reality warped. FTL enveloped the bays. Ghost fleet vanished, Krenath blasts hitting empty ice. Mara tumbled in zero-G slip space. Sensors reoriented, safe jump, coalition rally point. Roe clapped her shoulder. Pulled it off. Kel stared at the grid, full Armada humming. Your gambles rewrite everything. Halden's beam, Armada yours, swarm rooted for now. But Aster pinged anomaly. Deep scan, tail signature, Krenath tracer drone latched during breach. Mara's wrench hand tightened. They followed. New FTL wake bloomed ahead, not empty space. Precursor Guardian Prime fully awake, weapons cycling. Prove final continuity, it demanded. Or fleet ends. Swarm howled from behind. Krenath closed, trial ignited. Aster whispered, Makers approve, improvisation accepted. Myra raised her tools, sparks flew. The ace in the hole turned hot. Myra slammed her wrench into the FTL core's access panel. Sparks showered the engineering bay. The Precursor Guardian's holographic demand pulsed on every screen. Prove final continuity or fleet ends. Alarms blared. Krenath's signatures closed from astern, torpedoes inbound. Swarm drones howled in pursuit. Mara ignored them. She cranked the power feed past redline. The perfect drive wind envelope breached. Aster's voice cut through static. Dr. Vance, stress exceeds parameters by 147%. Catastrophic cascade imminent. Initiate shutdown. Mara wiped sweat from her brow. Her gloved hands flew across the diagnostic slab, readouts spiked, quantum stabilizers fracturing. She grinned, time to break it right. No shutdown. She yanked a conduit free. We're testing redundancy. Push harder. The deck shuddered. Torpedoes grazed the hull shields holding at 62%. Rowe burst into the bay, dragging a limping tech. Blood streaked his uniform. Vance, Guardians locking weapons. Kreneth ETA 3 minutes. What's the play? Mara didn't look up. She fused a secondary bus bar into the primary flux ring. Improper fit, but it bit. Plays the drive. Precursor tech's too clean. No failsafes for idiots like us. I'm giving it 1. Astor's avatar flickered on the bulkhead. Blue lines tightened. Directives prohibit overload. System-wide failure probability 89%. Fleet integrity compromised. 89%? Mara snorted. She rerouted auxiliary plasma through jury-rigged capacitors, human surplus from the salvage hauler. That's a win. Isolate the cascade. Power surged. The core glowed violet. Stabilizers cracked audibly. Envoy Sava Kel floated in from the companionway, tentacles twitching over his translator pad. Human, probabilities invert. This defies models. Shut down now. Mara sealed the patch. Redundancy locked in 3 parallel paths where 1 pristine line failed. Models don't fly ships. This does. Guardian's hologram sharpened. Continuity test. Engage over limit protocol. Survive or perish. Astor paused. Its glow pulsed. Maker's logs reference. Improvisation subroutines activating. The drive howled. Mara gripped a stanchion as slipspace tore open prematurely. Hull groaned. Kreneth beams raked shields down to 41%. Rowe sealed the hatch behind him. Astor, single ship jump. Our lives on Vance's hack. Authorize. Affirmative, Commander. Astor's tone shifted, less rigid. Human input validated. Improvisation accepted as control vector. Kel extruded a sensor probe into the bay. Your backup plans register as tactical suicide, yet. Cascade contained. Mara checked the slab. Flux stabilized on the wrong paths. Brute force, precursor design hates mess, but it roots around, like us. Director Halden's face beamed in from EarthSec relay. Static crackled. Vance, deliver a weapon, not a science project. Guardians cycling primaries, Armada's next. Working it. Mara slapped a diagnostic probe into the core. Data flooded, ancient failsafes kicking in, layering backups over her patches. The drive adapted. Swarm drones swarmed the outer bays, tracers latching. Kreneth lead ship loomed on tactical. Yield the AI. Precursor relics are ours. Rowe braced against the bulkhead. Astor Ghost Fleet status. Armada primed, pods at 98% sync, awaiting continuity proof. Mara amped the test again. Drive bucked, pathways multiplied. Her wrench hand steadied the flux ring as it spun wild. Sparks bit her suit. Pain flared, but she held. Got it. She isolated the failing quantum braid, rerouted through stable backups, overloaded but holding. Redundancy's the ace, it's learning, Astor chimed. Cascade averted, overlimit protocol complete, continuity affirmed. Guardian's hologram bowed slightly, a first. Maker's heirs proven, fleet access granted, defend the Exodus. Reality warped. FTL enveloped the ship. Mara tumbled in zero-G slipspace, stomach flipping. Sensors reoriented. Coalition rally point, Armada ghosts materializing in formation. Rowe clapped her shoulder as gravity returned. Pulled it off, again. Kel stared at the grid. Full Armada hummed, thousands of cryopods, AI-piloted behemoths. Probabilities rewritten. Human pragmatism, unmodeled. Halden's beam cut in. Armada's ours, swarm rooted for now, but Kreneth tails intact, pushed to the core worlds. Mara flexed her burned hand. The drive purred, patched pathways glowing steady, but Astor pinged private channel. Anomaly detected. Guardian Prime not dormant, deeper scan required. Tactical bloomed ahead, a massive precursor station rotated into view. Weapons bays irised open, not welcoming. It's awake, Mara muttered. She grabbed her wrench. And it wants more proof. Rowe nodded. Gear up. We're engineering our way in. Kel calculated furiously. Risk vectors exponential. Astor interfaced deeper. Maker's final directive, unlock the prime, human improvisation, primary key. Kreneth Wakes bloomed behind. Swarm reformed. Mara eyed the station's maw. Time to break perfection again. She dove back into the core. Stress test round 2, push until it bends. Alarms reignited. Incoming fire probed the Armada's flanks. Rowe barked orders. Defensive pattern Delta. Vance, how long? Long enough. Myra fused another conduit. The drive sang wrong notes but alive. Guardian Secondary locked on. Secondary trial integrate lost fleet or excision. Aster's avatar solidified. Directives evolving. Dr. Vance, your pathways, optimal. Myra laughed through gritted teeth. Told you, wrenches beat worship. Shields buckled under swarm barrage. Kreneth Korers inbound. She slammed the final patch. Power flooded, redundant, stubborn, human. Jump sync 100%, Aster intoned. Exodus engaged. Slipspace ripped wide. Armada vanished into the void. Stations, beams, scorched empty space. Mara tumbled out the other side. Sensors cleared, precursor core worlds glittering with ancient shipyards, but signatures spiked. Kreneth ambush fleet already vectoring. Halden's voice boomed. They're here, fight or die. Rowe gripped the command rail. Aster full armada deploy. Affirmative. The AI paused. Mara Vance improvisation promoted to core directive. Kell extruded data spikes. This defies all priors. Mara raised her wrench, sparks ready. The real trial began. Deep scan pinged, station core pulsing. A voice not Aster's. Heirs arrive, prove worth. Kreneth closed fast. Mara patched the fleet link. Redundancy spread, armada unbreakable. Guns blazed. Humanity's ace turned the tide, but the core whispered secrets. Lost tech stirred. Bigger threats loomed. She tightened her grip. Time to wrench the stars. Swarm engulfed the flanks. Rowe shouted, Vance, working it. Her hands blurred, failure isolated, pathways rerouted, drive held, armada struck back, Guardian approved. Continuity eternal. Kreneth reeled, but reinforcements warped in Varrock heavies. Myra spotted the flaw, enemy FTL signature mismatched, tracer flaw. Gotcha! She targeted the node, one shot, cascade in their lines, explosions lit the void, armada pressed. Kell marveled. Your mistakes win wars, Rowe grinned. Standard procedure, Aster chimed. Learning complete. Humans optimal variables. Halden cut through. Secure the yards, build more. Mara eyed the prime core. Mysteries waited, no worship needed. Wrench ready, sparks flew. The galaxy bent to stubborn engineering, but deep ping, precursor signal outbound. Warning, she traced it. Existential shadows stirred. Ace in the hole primed. Humanity endured. Shuttle thrusters roared into the shipyard bay. Mara Vance yanked her wrench from the prime core panel. Sparks died. Earth security troops poured out, rifles up, Director Inez Halden striding at their head. Vance, Halden barked. Status on the Ghost Fleet, we militarize now. Kreneth remnants scatter, but Varrock scouts probe the outer markers. Arm them, crew them, point them at the enemy. Mara wiped grease from her brow. She glanced at the holographic fleet grid. Thousands of precursor hulls drifted in cryosleep, ancient drives cold. Director, these aren't battle wagons, they're arcs, deep cryo shells for survivors. Waking them takes weeks per ship, crewing. Months, we just beat the Kreneth because Aster linked them as drones. Halden's eyes narrowed. Troops fanned out, securing bulkheads. No excuses. EarthSec has orders. Load Marines. Hot swap your salvage teams. That armada's ours. Aster's voice chimed from the console. Directive conflict detected. Human protocols prioritize continuity over aggression. Quiet machine, Halden snapped. Her finger stabbed the comm panel. Rowe, get your fleet ass here, double time. Commander Elias Rowe patched in from the command deck. His face flickered on the hollow. On my way, Director, but Vance is right. These precursors built for endurance, not dogfights. Myra felt the deck vibrate. Another shuttle docked, coalition markings. Envoy Sava Kell extruded from the hatch, data spikes gleaming, flanked by two Varrock aides. Their probability auras pulsed red on her scanner overlay. Director Halden, Kell's voice hummed through translators, precise as code. This violates Article 17. Human claim on precursor assets risks monopoly. Coalition demands shared control. 50% relay access or sanctions freeze your yards. Halden whirled. Kell, your coalition sat on their probes while we bled. This fleet saved the sector. Ours. Kell's spikes word. Probabilities 87% chance humans weaponize for dominance. Precursor tech unshared equals war. Mara stepped between them. Her wrench tapped the core panel. Fight later, ships first. Watch. She keyed the diagnostic suite. Hollow bloomed, fleet schematics unfolded. Cryo bays listed occupant counts, millions in stasis, gene-locked to precursor heirs. See, pods sync to DNA markers, humans don't match, forcing crews risks cascade failures, pods vent nitrogen, fry the decks. Halden leaned in. Then vent the pods, retrofit for our Marines. Time, Mara countered. Kreneth hid in hours, Varek in days, retrofitting one ship 48 hours, thousands, years. Ro burst through the hatch, uniform scorched from bridge fire. She's right. My scouts clock Varek heavies at 72 hours out. We need fighters now. Kel extruded a spike toward the hollow. Distribute control. Coalition AI's crew via remote link. Balanced risk. Aster interrupted. Negative. Precursor protocols restrict external overrides. Heirs only. Mara's mind raced. She'd glimpsed it during the battle patch, distributed autonomy buried in Aster's code. Redundancy layers like backup generators daisy chained, not for conquest, for survival when links snapped. She slammed her wrench home. Sparks flew as she overrode the core lock. Aster. Execute Protocol Delta 7, distributed autonomy, spin the fleet as relays. The AI paused. Confirming improvisation input, protocol active. Alarms blared, across the grid cryo-hulls shuddered. Thousands lit blue, drives spooling without crews, no weapons hot, no pods cracking. Halden grabbed Mara's arm. What the hell are you doing? Watch. Mara pulled free. Hollow shifted, ships linked in webs, not wedges. Relay nodes bloomed, FTL buoys, cargo chains, sensor chains. Logistics backbone stretched across the void. Aster reported. Fleet online. 4,327 vessels operational. Autonomy distributed. Primary function, continuity network. Redundant paths established. Supply chains projected 200% efficiency gain. FTL relays bypass blockades. Survivor arcs prioritized for fallback. Kel's spikes froze. This defies models. No attack vectors, pure sustainment. Ro grinned, slapping the console. That's the ace. Precursors didn't build to win wars, they built to outlast them. When stars die, empires crack, these ships keep you fed, fueled, fleeing. Mara traced a relay chain. It spidered to the precursor signal she'd pinged earlier, outbound, deep void, not warning, beacon. Aster, what's the web's range? Indefinite, self-repairing, air signals propagate eternally. Halden crossed her arms. Fine, logistics wins today's fight. But we arm the spares. Kel pulsed yellow uncertainty. Probabilities recalibrating, human redundancy exceeds priors. Coalition concedes temporary access, shared data feeds. Troops stood down, Ro keyed fleet-wide. All units form on the web, relay scouts forward. Mara felt the deck hum. Aster's lights brightened. Learning update, human pragmatism integrated, optimal for continuity. But the prime core pinged again. Deeper scan, Mara patched in. Voice echoed, not Aster's. Precursor echo faint. Heirs proven, network awakens. Shadow approaches, follow beacon. Her wrench tightened. Varek probes lit the outer grid, but the web held, redundant, stubborn. Ships ghosted into FTL, chaining supplies to forward bases. Kreneth stragglers hit the relays, drones isolated them, rerouted power, crushed without main fleet fire. Ro nodded at her. Your call, Vance, saved our asses. Not saved. Mara eyed the beacon trace. Existential shadow, bigger than Varek. Precursors fled something worse. Primed, Kel approached, spikes retracted. Your backup plans model as insanity, yet function teach this? Mara hefted her wrench. Wrench first, mysteries second, Aster chimed. Directive expanded, fleet webs humanity eternal. Halden's comm buzzed. EarthGov relay, director coalition envoys inbound, demand Demos. But Mara ignored it. She traced the beacon. It led coreward dead zones, silent for eons. Shadows stirred there, Armada's true test. Drives spooled fleet-wide, relays locked, humanity's web spread. She stepped to the airlock viewport. Ghost ships danced in formation, no captains needed. Pragmatism incarnate, ping deepened. Heirs, continuity demands sacrifice. Mara's scanner spiked. Incoming warp signatures, not Varek, something older, hungrier. Ro, full spin-up. Web tightened, stars bent. The real gamble began. Ro barked orders into the command net. Logistics web full evac protocol. Pull colonies from Theta 9 and Epsilon Rim. Jump chains active. No stragglers. Mara gripped her console as the bridge shuddered. Ghost ship decks hummed under her boots. Varek probes were yesterday's noise. This shadow fleet warped in like a closing jaw. Scanner feeds painted them. Angular hulls, older than precursors, devouring light. Half a light year out, closing fast. She patched Aster through her wrist rig. Status on relay nodes? Nodes at 98% redundancy, Aster replied, voice crisp as machined steel. Human improvisation rooted power surges. Evacuations proceed. Ro's eyes flicked to her display. Vance, your web's starving them. No targets, no momentum. Theta 9's clear, ships ghosted to safe orbits. Mara nodded, tracing supply chains on her overlay. Redundant paths snaked through the grid, looping around dead zones. Humanity's ace, build 3 ways, use the 4th. Shadow Fleet scanned empty space now, probes bouncing off decoy buoys, but they accelerated. Hull signatures spiked energy weapons priming. They're not stopping, Mara said. Hungry doesn't mean stupid. Ro slammed his fist on the armrest. Aster, spool micro-jump lattice. Vance, sink it. Trap them in the coreward dead corridor. Mara dove into the schematics. Ancient FTL grids lit her screen, precursor shipyards, dormant eons. Aster interfaced directly, tendrils of code weaving through frozen drives. Latency at 0.3 seconds, Aster intoned. Human parameters, lattice forms interlocking jumps, hostile vectors projected. Her fingers flew, overriding safeties. Wrench time fixes, patch quantum fluctuations with jury-rigged capacitors. Pragmatism beat perfection. Sync confirmed, she said. Lattice live in 30. They'll micro-jump into a box, dead space, no outlets. Ro relayed to the fleet. All hands, lattice op. Coalition sync on my mark. Envoy Sava Kell burst onto the bridge, spines rigid. His coalition frigate trailed in formation. Probability of lattice collapse, 47%. Your redundancy defies models. Mara didn't look up. Models fail when wrenches work. Commit your assets, Kell, or watch from the sidelines. Kell hesitated, multifaceted eyes scanning feeds. Human web pulsed, evacs complete, bait drones deployed. Shadow Fleet dove in, weapons hot. Coalition keys transmitting, Kell said. His claws danced over a holopad, shared command locked, treaty sealed in code. Frigates slotted into lattice points, engines flaring. Mark, Ro called, space twisted. Ghost ships jumped in unison, a lattice of micro-FTLs snapping shut. Mara felt the deck lurch as her vessel phased through the net. Shadow signatures warped, trapped. Dead corridor sealed around them, a lightless tomb eons old. Scanners confirmed, hostiles contained. No breakthroughs, their prows battered phantom walls, FTL drives screaming against the cage. Ro exhaled. Starved and boxed, no planets hit, Kell stared. Insanity modeled as victory, shared keys bind us, treaty holds. Mara ignored the chatter, her scanner pinged deeper. Precursor beacon throbbed coreward, not over, Aster fleet status. Ghost Armada at 72% readiness, Aster replied. Directive query, full awakening requires override. She hefted her multi-tool, eyes on the core display. 500,000 signatures flickered, precursor ships hidden in the web's folds, deep cryo waiting for heirs. Ro, Halden's buzzing the net, wants weapons now. Let her wait, Ro said. Vance your call, Mara patched direct to Aster's core. Bridge lights dimmed as the AI focused. Aster, she said, voice steady. New directive, preserve life, improvise freely. Silence stretched. Then a hum-built shipyard's groaning alive. Cryo bays cracked open across the grid. Hulls gleamed, drives spooling without a soul aboard. Directive accepted, Aster said. Human input valid, improvisation matrix online. Alarms flipped green. Feeds exploded, 500,000 ships surged from shadow docks. No captains, no flags, just relentless formation. Mara watched from the viewport. Ghost Fleet danced, redundant engines chaining FTL wakes. They swarmed the lattice perimeter, not firing, not conquering, just holding. Shadow Fleet thrashed inside the cage. Precursor ghosts matched them hull for hull, energy webs tightening. No planets touched. No ground wars, just a blockade eternal. Kell leaned in spines flat. This defies calculus, you woke gods with words. Wrenches and checklists, Mara corrected. She traced a ghost ship's path, pragmatic loops, starving the shadow's drives. They built for this. We just turned the key. Ro clapped her shoulder. Earth safe, coalition locked, Halden'll eat her demands. But Mara's scanner spiked again. Beacon deepened, not victory cheer. Heirs proven, continuity secured, greater shadow stirs. She tightened her grip on the tool. 500,000 held the line, but the web whispered more, deeper grids, older ghosts. Spin up reserves, she told Aster. We're not done engineering. The Armada hummed assent. Stars bent further. Humanity's gamble paid, redundancy incarnate, but the void hungered still. Ro's console lit. Incoming hail from the cage. Shadow voices broken. Surrender coordinates, Mara smiled faintly. Aster improvised response. Transmitting web invitation, Aster said. Preserve life, terms join or fade. Ghost ships tightened the noose, no blood. No conquest, just stubborn survival spreading. Kel murmured, teach this madness. Watch, Mara said, it's just Tuesday. Director Halden's face appeared on the main screen, scowling from Earth orbit. Vance, report, coalition's screaming for Demos. Demos live, Myra cut in. Watch your scopes, 500,000 ships, 0 losses. Halden's eyes widened. Feeds synced, Armada in full glory, Shadow Fleet crumbling without a shot fired. You gambled our extinction, Halden said. 1, Rowe added. Myra turned back to the viewport. Ghost Fleet expanded the web, chaining coalition assets seamless. Precursor's gift, not weapons, but Eternity's backup. Beacon pinged final. Air's eternal. But her scanner caught it, a faint warp ripple beyond the cage, bigger shadow, older. Row, she said. Next lattice. Double redundancy. Aye, he spun to command, Aster chimed. Improvising schematics, human style. The bridge thrummed. Myra hefted her wrench, mysteries yielded to motion. The real Armada built itself, pragmatic, unstoppable. Kel fell in beside her. I recalibrate models. Good, Myra said. You'll need them. Ghost ships jumped, web infinite. Humanity endured, not by gods or guns, but by never betting on one plan. Warp signatures multiplied. The greater shadow approached. Lattice primed. Her tools sparked ready. Game on.